And then he offered that. And I didn't even know. Let me at least get like get that Christmas shit out of the way.
Now, you said it was from your uncle who buys storage units, right?
Some of this stuff I bought local, and then so he has storage units, and I buy off of him occasionally.
Mm-hmm.
I used to a whole lot more. I used to have two. When I say stores, take that with a grain of salt. I used to have two stores, quote unquote, that were between a flea market and a store. So,
Kind of like a, yeah, I get what you're
they would
saying.
rent you space, and they would sell it for you.
Okay.
Not consignment, but like, they would sell it for whatever price you paid. You would just pay them rent
Right.
for however much space you wanted. So I had a 20 by 20. Not even a week later, he hit me up, and he was like, "Yeah, man, is there any way that I can get those games back?"
The game's back?
Yeah, and I was like, and I knew he didn't have the money because I would have just gave it back to him at the price that I paid for it. But I was like, I mean, and he basically said, "Do you want to trade?" And I was like, what could you possibly have?
Or is this having like remorse or selling it?
So that's what he told me. So he planned on going the emulator route of just emulating all the games instead of having the physical games.
Yeah.
And he was like, my kids just miss it of being able to, pull out a game and slap it in the console. And I'm sure he did as well, but he was using his kids as like a bargaining chip. And I was like, all right, man. I mean, I'll look at anything you've got. His collection was worth maybe $1,000,
okay,
maybe $1,200. It wasn't anything. It was just like an NES console with like 20 games that were $15 games, $10, $15
Just
games.
an average NES, a little lot.
Yeah, Genesis $200 game in the shit that I bought, and then he offered that, and I didn't even was.
When you sent me pictures, I didn't know.
I was just like, I mean, I'll look into it. This was 6-7 years ago.
Yeah.
Could find nothing on it. No sold listings. Nobody mentioning that they had it. Apparently, his daughter had won it, and in the random raffle. Dude. And I was just like, I mean, I guess I was like, I'll take it, but like, at that point, I didn't sell off much. I sold off a couple items, but it was nothing major.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I probably had doubles of it anyway. So I was like, well, I'll put together a pile of all the that I think you had, and if you want to do the trade, I will. And then I held on to it for a while. I think I tried selling it once or twice, but selling it on eBay, like I listed on eBay.
It's scary too because
I was like, even if this sells, like what happens if it gets fucked in shipping? What happens if like the person gets it and fucking swaps it out or whatever? Because I was a small seller, so I don't know what eBay's going to say. So I was just like, I'll just keep it until I can sell it local.
Yeah.
So I started trying to use it as trade bait, but nobody's going to trade, $5-6K games.
It's a tough trade.
360 console unless they're really looking for that.
Yeah.
And then I had the same guy that came from Ohio. He wanted it, but at the time, I think he offered like $1,500 or $2K. I just didn't want to sell it.
At the time, yeah.
I was like, plus when he came, I had $30K that I was already selling him, so I got like $16, $17K.
You were happy with it?
Out of him. I was like, I don't
money.
need $2K more.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm good now. I already got all this money, so I'll just hold on to it. And then because I've gotten into cards, it's kind of tempted me to want to sell it because I could like. I've got like 100 cards that I want to get graded, and it's like it's going to be $2,000 or so. So like, plus anything that comes back higher than a certain amount.
If you don't have to come out of pocket, you can, what's the opportunity
basically
cost?
I'm essentially getting rid of it to just grade cards.
Yeah, that could make you out,
Yeah, could. I've been like super because PSA is.
They'll be taking a long time, right?
It's a long time
and expensive.
Plus, it's expensive. Plus, because it's the eye of the beholder. One person could grade it a 9, one person could grade it a 10, one person could grade it an 8. I mean, it's usually not that big of a difference, but I've seen some really clean cards come back 9s. Yeah. And then they literally crack it, resend it, and they get a 10. Yeah. So, I tend to have a little bit. And COVID hit, and I was it's not worth it.
Right.
Like, I was making good money with it, but I'm
guessing you have a full-time job and everything.
Yeah, I work. There's a army base right around the corner.
Yeah.
And I do IT for the government. No, I'm not in the army, but I help in the army, I guess. So, I mean, I do this kind of for fun. I used to have, I had like a $50,000 collection.
Nice.
But,
Okay.
so, I don't know what variation of which ones have different issues, but yeah.
Cooked. Probably came from your uncle.
Yeah, probably.
That's the thing. We're gonna pay like $5 to $7 a piece on some untested PS1s.
Or not, I paid like $25 for it, but.
So we're gonna do all these throw-ins. Well, not all these throw-ins. We're gonna do these throw-ins to compensate some of the beat N64 games. Game Boy, that was broken hinge. Or actually, that was original DS that had a broken hinge. It probably all equals out, and some of the consoles are untested, so I think that's decently fair. And we're taking the M&M Xbox.
Yeah, I would so.
Which I have no idea what I'm gonna do, but I'm definitely gonna show it off in my group. I'm gonna post it later.
This one I was so excited to get because this is the first time I've actually seen this game, but there was no game in there. It's just the
last collection I bought. It was a big PS1, PS2, and it had a lot of these slipcover limited edition type PS2 games. This one's really cool. I don't think I've ever seen this.
Yeah, this is the first one that I've seen. I was like, damn.
That company out, this just makes like absurdly expensive games, like Rule of Roses and Sega Saturn games. They're crazy.